The West Virginia Mountaineers are just flat out snake bitten with injuries. Now it's Joylen Henderson who is going to be out Saturday versus BYU.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia. We're live for about the sixth time today, and that's okay. We're good with it. We're obsessed, unlike the rest. I might coin that. That's pretty good. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, just bet $5. And if your bet wins, you'll win $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today to get started. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Oh, man. If you guys didn't know, Joylen Henderson has been ruled out via the availability report, which we will be looking at here shortly. As you can see, here we go. And we're not alone here. We're with Jake Hatch of Locked On Cougars. Appreciate you for joining on, brother.
Happy to do it, man.
Yeah, man. So we're right here. We're just talking about it. As of October 3rd and 4th, 2025, the availability report, West Virginia is without starting all-world running back Jaheim White, your best return man, and Oron Singleton, your starting number, maybe one, but probably number two, Jaden Bray, former starter Nico Marchiol, his successor Joylen Henderson, a safety that you had a lot of promise before you started, Julian Horton, Cooper Young, a backup offensive lineman, and the starting defensive end, Devin Grant. Questionable, the backup to the backup, Max Brown. Probable, all-world Ty Edwards, who you really have a lot of faith in, and right guard that's been really bad this year, Kimo Makanayole. How would you even – I said snake bitten. Is there a better way to even frame it?
Straight up walking mash unit is – I'm telling you, Mountaineer Paul, I feel for West Virginia fans. Looking at that injury report, that is absolutely nuts. That's like just talk about total decimation of your offense. Like your offensive line, running backs, wide receivers, your quarterback, the most important position in all of football.
And we're down three.
We're down three of them. And dude, that's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. So I think it answers the biggest question of all, though, Jake. Is Mountaineer Paul a homer? Because I picked West Virginia to win on your show.
No, I don't blame you one bit. You got to keep it alive. That's the thing about this. If you don't have that belief, what are you doing in sports?
Exactly. And West Virginia still has Max Brown Popley and Khalil WIlkins. We really like Khalil WIlkins. He's just young, as you know. But, this is a tough spot for West Virginia to be in. Let them know some of the things you were saying on your show earlier about this window and how difficult it is for opponents.
So there is this moniker of BYU playing late nights under the lights at LaVell Edwards Stadium. They call them the Vampire Cougs because they've gotten used to this. This goes back all the way to their independent era. They played a lot of 8:15, 8:30 starts, even some 9 o'clock starts. And those are late nights here in Provo, even later, obviously, for those out there in Morgantown, because that's 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time. But BYU's record is darn near 95% in terms of games they have won at home under the lights. It's absolutely nuts how dominant they have been in this late window at home.
Wow. So back to the original topic really quick. Joylen Henderson, obviously, you get him through the portal.
Yeah.
He's a redshirt senior, I think. Maybe a junior. Let me look that up really quick. Sometimes it's hard to keep track, Jake.
I understand.
So let's see. It is. Well, then the screen went blank. It came on, then it went right off for a second. Okay, so he is a senior. So the timing of this doesn't look great, Jake. You're on a team that's struggling. You just had one quarterback that kind of set the example earlier today of what you can do should West Virginia fans be worried that this might be another red shirt or another transfer even? I mean, it's speculatory, but I mean, goodness, like it's worrisome.
Now, obviously, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. How many games has Henderson played into this point? Has he played the 4?
Has he played in all? So it's a good question.
Because
he's only played in 4 or 5. I'm not sure which one. If he's played in 5, then that's a good point.
Yeah, that all kind of depends on how many games he's played. So we'll see what happens. I know the Nico Markiel situation has obviously rubbed West Virginia fans the wrong way because he left Morgantown, traveled to Colorado out here in the West to see a foot specialist, and then ends up in the portal. It felt like he may have left under some less than truthful circumstances. Reading the lines there. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that Joylen Henderson's maybe looking for an exit, but I can't rule it out either. I guess that I'm playing it right down the middle there for you.
Yeah, it's an eyebrow raiser, right? Yeah. I mean, he's gone from questionable to out here, so he wasn't injured bad. Like we were pretty well assuming he was going to be able to go. Now, this could be strategic on the staff's part, right? Yeah. We're going to hold you out because we have the bye week coming up, and we're going to need you for the stretch. So let's get you healthy. Let's not send you to LaVell Edwards under those same lights you just talked about that you're almost guaranteed to win against the best team in the league. I mean, it looks like it's, thank you, Dylan. So I've got people in the chat saying he's played in 5 games.
Okay. If that's the case, if he's played the 5 games, then Mountaineer Paul, I think what you're saying is exactly right. Don't risk him on the road under the lights on a short week in Provo. Get him to the bye week, let him heal up a little bit, and hopefully have him for the stretch run. That makes the most sense in my mind.
Yeah, and I can see it. And you get to see what you got in your redshirt freshman. Maybe he plays well on the road, and you've got yourself a quarterback that's ready to play right now. Obviously, he only had a few series against Utah, but did you get to see the end of the fourth quarter? Did you see WIlkins?
I actually did. I actually missed the early part of that game. I actually watched the entirety of the second half, and I was very impressed with WIlkins. He's got electric ability with those legs. Now, obviously, the passing game's got to be a part of this, but that running ability in and of itself, that's going to cause problems even for BYU on Friday night because that ability to scramble like that, we saw it last week, BYU playing Colorado. They got torched early on in that game by Caden Salter. I can't discount WIlkins potentially doing the same thing.
Yeah. We asked, well, I didn't ask, but they asked Rich right after the game. They said he just short-armed a couple throws. It was his first start. One should have been it was 2 touchdowns, actually. Yeah. One should have been caught, honestly. Even if it was a little underthrown. I hope that because Rich Rod says he can make all the throws. So you just kind of hope that he's not a deficient passer, right? That but we'll find out because he's going to have to on Saturday if he plays. And I think he will play some. He's going to play at some point. Yeah. If it's not him, we're going to talk about who the other quarterback might be. And we're going to look at a little bit of tape. I want to show Jake a little bit of tape on the other guy. And can you stay for the rest of the show, or do you need to go after a segment?
I got 10 minutes or so. We can do it. Let's go.
Okay. All right. I'll show Jake Max Brown after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our good friends, and we love these people over at Mazda. Top now, look, Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. They craft cars that deliver confidence with every ride, with more IHS top safety picks and awards than anybody else as of August of 2025. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence throughout almost any season. Like our players, we sweat almost every detail. Because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. That's today at Mazda. Move and be moved. And of course, we have to also mention our great friends over at Monarch Money. Right now with Monarch Money, it's pretty simple, guys. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. Well, that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or mobile phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives like you. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch Money is for you. It does the heavy lifting after all, and it can link all your accounts in minutes. See clear data, get visuals, smart categorization of spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let the financial opportunity slip through the cracks for you. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser, or for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year off at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONCollege. In segment 2, we always crack open a do, and we're going to do so with Jay Catch from Locked On BYU. It rhymed.
Hey, there we go.
Why I pull up this Max Brown stuff, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Yeah, so if you want a daily BYU content, much like what MP does here with Locked On West Virginia, check out Locked On Cougars wherever you get your podcasts. Also available on YouTube. We're having fun every day talking all things BYU, and I've been watching MP do his thing for quite a while now since joining the network, so it's good to have this daily content available, especially across the Big 12. I'll just say that, MP.
Appreciate that, brother. It means a lot, and obviously, I think a lot of us aspire to your lead, what you do. I mean, you're one of the most successful shows on the platform. I think.
Thank you.
You and I both are actually, but I think you are even more so than me are successful. And, following your lead is something that I try to do, right? Because you put out a great product, people watch you, I think we have fan bases in common. Our fan bases both like our respective teams.
Yes.
It's just why we punch above our weight, right? We're both in the top 10 a lot, top 15 of our company, which we're proud of. Mm-hmm. Because we're punching with guys like Ohio State and Oregon and Florida State, so I take pride in our fan bases.
Well, and that's the thing about this is what I have noticed from West Virginia, they're much like BYU. They're all in on the Mountaineers. In your case, they're all in on the Cougars here, and they're hardy and they're diehards. That's the other thing about this is they don't go down easily.
So this is Max Brown, and he obviously played at Florida. So here's where his tape gets really good and interesting. I would say that he has an NFL arm, but it's just that, unfortunately, for whatever reason, at Charlotte last year, he had a rough go of it. And I watched some of the games. They weren't very good. It's fine. I get it. But, right here, you'll see in practice, this is all 22. Well, this isn't technically all 22, but this is practice footage from Florida. There's also some game footage here. You'll see with the flick of the wrist, he puts that thing in the back of the end zone. It's a beautiful throw.
Jeez, yeah. Holy cow.
But there are more than that. There's a ton of throws on here where you'll be like, okay, this dude can zing it. And as you can see there, he's not immobile in the pocket. And you'll see a couple plays here where he can really move. Nice throw there. Obviously, zing across the field. But this is the throw. I think this is the throw. We'll find out here in a second. No, it's one of the next 2 or 3 throws. I think it could be this one, actually. Yeah, this is the throw here, Jake. This is a tough throw. You're shaded towards the right hash, and you're throwing a deep out 15 or 20 yards upfield to the sideline, and he puts a lot of mustard on this thing. And this is against that Florida State team, by the way, that in 2023 that was like should have went to the playoff.
Okay.
That's a lot of – he put a lot of mustard on that thing there.
And one thing I noticed with that, Paul, and obviously I'm not an expert when it comes to this. His footwork on that, it wasn't ideal footwork either. I'd say that all the time. He's an all-platform guy. Yeah.
As a runner, very functional in a run game. I mean, this is against SEC talent. It's in practice, but this is against Florida State. So you get a better idea for what he can do with his legs. Clearly, he can run. Certainly better than what we had with Nico as a runner. The only thing I can gather is he hasn't picked up the playbook just yet. There's another excellent throw with the guy hanging off his leg, and it's another all-platform throw at that.
Yeah,
get back to it.
That's the thing about this. You're right. This looks like they're all the physical tools there, so it makes you wonder, okay, does he not have the playbook all the way down, or the decision-making may not be the level that West Virginia is comfortable with him out there as a full-time starter yet?
That has to be it, because you go back and watch his Charlotte stuff. Mm-hmm. He makes throw after throw. And then he, last year he had 93 snaps at Charlotte, which is probably 3-4 games, maybe 5 games. And he threw 6 picks in those 93 snaps. So not great. And so you wonder, okay, because if you look at this throw here, it's a dime and it's about 50 or 55 yards down the field. The physical tools, like you said, are there. So is it decision making? Because we all know more goes into quarterback play as he outruns a bunch of guys from Missouri here.
Look at that high and tight, man. Look at that. I like
yeah,
that.
great. So he's got a lot to cheer for. And that's why I say when I was telling you on your show, if it comes down to putting him in, I feel hopeful for our passing game.
Well, that's the thing about this. You can see that there's all the physical tools there. He's got a good arm because like that arms like that to be able to throw off balance, off platform, as you mentioned, and put the RPMs he puts on that. That's a God-given gift. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah. When I spoke to him, he said, I'm a baseball guy. And you hear that a lot, right?
Sure. Well, okay. That his arm, that is a baseball arm. No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. You can tell. And I mean, look, these are, I don't know what string these guys are, but very likely Florida doesn't field very many non-4-star, 5-star guys, right? So, you look here in the RPO, this is exactly what you do at West Virginia, right? You're in an RPO situation. The running back stayed home, right? You should be able to get around, or you should be able to be tackled here. Most guys would be, but Max is quick enough, especially he's got some pretty good burst right out of there. Boom. And to run by a guy. It's what gives me hope for him in this offense if he gets to play, because I think he's got some ability. Now I have to turn it off there because that'll copyright. Yeah. But I've got it down to a science. I know what I can share and what I can't. So based on that, Jake, obviously I don't think you're scared of West Virginia. You have maybe have respect for West Virginia. But do you think, in this situation, a guy like Max, do you think he could do some damage in a game?
Well, that's the thing about this is you're looking at it from my side of things when it comes to BYU. Last week, Caden Salter, who is a very talented quarterback in his own right, he had a lot on against BYU. And the problem with quarterbacks like a Max Brown or any of these quarterbacks that BYU could see is the fear of the unknown with them, because you can watch all this tape and whatnot and feel like you have a sense for who they are. But until you really get them into a game situation, you don't necessarily know what they're going to look like. Yeah, he's played some games, obviously, you mentioned at Charlotte and also at Florida, but there's not extensive tape on him. And that can be the problem and against.
This is a great throw here. Just right over, just a great throw. Yeah. And it gives me some hope anyways. I mean, I went and watched him at Charlotte. When he's got time, he's a good player. If he can be rattled, I think that's what I noticed at Charlotte anyway. This is when he was young at Florida State. What does that mean? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I didn't mean to turn it off when I did earlier, but I have hope with Max Brown because we have talent at receiver, especially in Cam Vaughn. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if I were Rich Rod, I would probably lean towards Brown over Khalil to start this kind of game, only because of the experience factor. I mean, goodness gracious, could you imagine putting a kid? And look, the coaches know this guy. You hear all the time that, man, you play this guy on the road and he can lose all his confidence.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a hard time buying that a guy can lose his confidence in one game like that.
Well, that's the thing about this. You got to worry about that if you go and hurt a guy's confidence by putting him in a game when they're not necessarily ready to play. And I can tell you, I've watched quarterbacks of yesteryear from BYU who have had that very thing happen to them. Some guys thrive in environments like that. Other guys will crumble. So it's an inexact science, obviously, because different guys have different psyche and different mentalities when it comes to that. The situation that West Virginia finds themselves in, you're down potentially what I would consider maybe your top 2 quarterback. Brown, questionable. Like you're trying to make do with what you got. So you got to have some hope that, hey, maybe one of these guys, the lights come on and the light comes on in their head and they figure it out.
That's it, man. Jake, I really appreciate you for jumping on and talking with us for a little bit, man.
Absolutely.
Make sure you find him on Locked On Cougars over on the BYU channel there. He does an excellent job. Where are you at on X?
Jacob C. Hatch, my full name. So there you go. Just check it out, or Locked On Cougars also on X.
Okay, man. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll definitely, hopefully, me and you will have some banner in the group chat after Saturday.
We will. We'll see you guys out in Provo on Friday night. All right.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
See ya. All right, guys. That was Jake Hatch with Locked On Cougars, and obviously an awesome dude. I love Jake. I think he's one of the best in the business. His numbers show it. He's got a great show. Let's go to break. We'll put a bow on this crazy day of college football for West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, it's pretty simple. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, FanDuel makes customers an offer of $5, and if you win, you get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com today to download the FanDuel app and get started. And last but not least, our buddies at Square College are pretty cool peeps. And look, your favorite neighborhood does run on Square after all. There are certain businesses that make the neighborhood the neighborhood. These are the places that become an extension of home. Whether it's the sports bar dedicated to your team's fan base, the spot with the best wings in town for game day, or that beloved local chain that's been rooted in your community for years, these businesses are what bring people together. When the neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. And look, I got to be honest. If you want to go to Kegler's and support Morgantown, that'd be the place to go, right? Rich Rod's there, the whole nine. That'd be definitely my offer for you to try. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/LockedOnCollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square. See you in the neighborhood. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I think we've been back. We've probably been here for 7, 8 episodes today. I don't know how many. It's been a lot overall. I mean, I've done other shows. I try my hardest to grind for you guys and make you proud. I understand there are people like Whitey Williams, the guy on, I think he's a former player. He's just not happy that I'm reaching out to players. So at the end of the day, guys, I have to be mindful that not everybody's going to agree with what I do. Right. So it is what it is. I can't make everybody happy. And sometimes it's hard. But you know, it's one of those things that he put out a poll and I wanted to ask you guys how you felt about it. So if you could let me, let me know how you feel here, because he put out a poll. I wanted to show you guys here. Let's see where it is. I think it's in response to this. So yeah, here it is right here. Here's the poll. Do you think that unaffiliated media podcasters should reach out directly to high school athletes that is West Virginia is actively recruiting? This is the poll that he put out. And, I obviously addressed it and said, I didn't see the high school things, but part of this. But I mean, the other day he said something about stop reaching out to players or something along those lines. I'm actually not sure where my post is on here now. I don't know if he got rid of it or not. Anyways, I said, Tucker DeVries, Tucker DeVries made $1,000 off the money that I paid him, right? Others have made hundreds of dollars off the money that I've given them for NIL. It's the truth. It comes out of my own pocket. There was a time when I raised it myself. But you don't have to agree with what I do. I think I'm going to do it anyway, right? Like I'm going to do what I feel is right. Just like in politics or just like with religion or anything else, we obviously just have a fundamentally different viewpoint on this because I'm paying them. I'm giving them opportunities for exposure. You know what I mean? So also, it's not like I blow them up. I might send 1 or 2 messages here and there. Like it's not, I don't see the issue. But I don't expect everybody to agree with me, nor does everybody have to. I just thought it was interesting that he's so hell bent on this. for sure. You know, so he says that 90% of people agree with him on the poll, and he doesn't. He said, you know, all this different stuff. So, you know, it's one of those things that at the end of the day, you have no control over it. You literally have no control over what I do, just like I have no control over what somebody else does. And there's no way to stop it. So, all it does is make me want to double down on it, which is why I brought Wyatt on the other day. And I'll bring on others now, you know, and I'll pay them, unlike you. You complain on the sidelines, I'll pay them. We'll see who does more good with that, because I'm not going to sit here and having to defend myself over that. You know, like I've tried to show this man respect. He's a former player of some respect, and I feel the need to be respectful. But you continue to be mad. You continue to hate. You continue to whatever you want to call it. Be a, you know, whatever you want to call it. You be a hater. Be mad about it, whatever way you want to put on this. But what my thing is this: you continue to do that, and I'll continue to throw these dudes a few bucks, a couple $100 in a lot of cases, to come on the show, and see who does more good with it. That's it. People that can't do hate, or people that won't hate, right? So, you know, it's and the thing is I've never had a bad reaction. Never once. People will say the Smurf Millender thing. It's just not true. I asked Smurf himself, you know, so that's just what it is. I do appreciate you guys so much for coming on and being here for Locked On West Virginia. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about it personally. Does it bother you whenever I bring a person on the show, a player of some respect, a high school player, a college player, anything like that? Let me know. I'm curious to know down below. Other than that, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Have a great night. Keep country roads.